Okay. So, in the last class, we were talking about how to get the data and how to iterate the data and all. So, yeah, I'm ready with that my skill. Uh, okay. So let me, if you want to see, I think everybody can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you want to see the database names, like, what are the databases is created already in the database server. So this is just a client, and we are trying to use this client to access all the detail from the database server, which is already installed in the same system. And so we have list of databases is created. And for now, for our goal, we are trying to use this database, right? Okay. So now, I'm gonna see that what are the columns and all. We already seen that the table. Sorry, this is the database, and we have to use this database. Just use a use command bold. Then it is database is changed. Then if you want to see that all the tables under this database, just show table, and then select star from city. So when you click on that, you got the information. So there are many records out there. So in the database, that is what it is trying to display, right? So there are many records. So thousands of records. Look at that. It's keep on fetching the data, and it's rendering. Okay. So total how many records we have? 4079. Okay. Let's say here. So what is the database password? Is for me CSTPL underscore 20. This is the password. And so and also let me check the database port number. Okay. So I think database port number, if you see that the same thing 3306, I guess. Let's try with that. Um, 3306, and the database name is old, and the database is installed in our same system. That is the reason I'm using localhost. Localhost here is nothing but a IP address. If the database server is installed in the same system, we can use a local host instead of that IP address, guys. Okay. Now I'm just trying to run it, and look at this. And I'm just commenting this code first at this moment. I just commented, and I'm running this. Sorry, I am running as a Java application because it's a simple Java application. It's running, and we got the connection now, and then we got the result set. So that means we are able to connect the database successfully. And so after getting the database connection and all result set, so I'm just trying to iterate it. Look at this. If I want to iterate it, if I export it, so we'll get the data like this. So this lot of data we got. Okay, we get the data, all the name wise and all. So how we are going to get the data? So what simply thing is, just we are creating uh, create object, and then after creating a create object, uh, create statement object. After that, what we are doing here, guys, what we are doing, uh, we are just calling the execute query method. Execute query method. So that execute query method is going to pass that, for this method we are passing the query which we want to execute. That finally this method will return the result set. Result set have all the information, but by default pointer will not focus to the records. Let's say we have 1,000 records. The by default it will not point to the first record. The moment when you call this method rs.next method, it will move to the next position. By default it won't point to any record. If it is the first time, it will move to the first record. Once it point to the first record, if the record is available, then it will return true. Then so the next method will return true or false. So if it is record is there, then only we need the data, right? If there is no data, why we need to export this? So that is the reason next method we can keep this in while loop, because this while loop will always execute as long as it is true. Once it become false, it won't go and execute the statement which are under the which are under the while loop. So like this, if you want to get the other column data, let's say the other, what is the other column we have? So column name column is there, country code is there. If you want to get the country code or else population, let's say what is population is integer, right? Just you can see that population. Okay, population. Just I'm using this population. Look at this. Here I'm population. I'm getting here by default get string by using get string only. But let's see that what is the output we get here. So name and name and population. Just whether we are able to fetch the data or not. That's what we are trying to understand here. Okay, what we have to do with the data, that we will think it later. So I'm just running it. Look at this. We got the data. We got the data. Okay. So Kabul, so this one, and even if I use string also, as it is a database field type is integer. This one, right? So how do you know that? What are the data types of the columns? How do you know that? So you can describe the table name, like so describe the table name by using this. So you can see that each field or each column of the database table type is data type. Here ID data type is int and population data type is int. But still I use the method called get string method, guys. Even okay. So get string method you can use for anything, but get string method you can use for anything, but you cannot use other methods because by default anything can be converted into string, right? String format. That is the reason you can use it. But when we are actually, if you want to do calculations or modifications, you can use the int also, get int. There is a method called get int. If you see that, so there is a method called get int method also there. Okay, get int method also there. Run application. Even if you use the get int method also, we are able to get the data. We are able to get the data from the database, right? So this get int method also will help us. But if you use the same get int for this get string, like for name case, look at this. For name case, I'm just using that for name case and trying to run it. So trying to run it. Look at that error. So what kind of error we get? Cannot determine value type from string to string Kabul. So that means the first record, when it is the first value of the city is Kabul, but you are trying to do what we are trying to do here, cannot determine value type of string. So that means the type of the value which inside that is string kind of like a character type. Character can, we are trying to convert into int, so it cannot be converted. But anything can be converted into string format. So that is the reason if you use string for all the cases, you can use it. But if you know the data type specifically, then you can use that bit. Okay, so you got that right. uh, so like this, these get text access methods, like we can say all our get methods are on the result set object. You can use um, getter methods, like we have get string, get int, get float, get double, get the boolean, something like that. Based on the data type, you can apply on the particular columns. Okay, particular columns. Now we got the name and population, right? So we get that data. So here, what you observe, you guys. So we register the driver and get prepare. Get the connection and then prepared the statement, created the statement, and then executed the query. These are the four steps line of the code. But that too is all around predefined methods we are using. Just we are trying to understand what are the inputs is required to register the driver, and what are the inputs is required to get the connection, and how to create a statement, and how to pass. What are the input we have to pass to this execute query method. So these are the main things we have to understand. Okay. I hope you understood this clearly. Do you have any doubts so far?
No, sir.
Okay. So what we will do is till now we understood how to log into how to data install the database server, how to use that client software and do the operation, the same operations how to do in the JDBC level, program level. We are trying to understand. Okay, so till now we used that, the existing databases which was already there in the database. If you want to create your own database, let's say you are there, if you want to create your own database, how to create, that is a simple create. Even if you want to see the syntax and all, you can go and check in the document, MySQL document. So then under the database server, I'm just trying to create my own database. Create database name is, I'm going to make it a CSTPL. What is the database name I'm going to create it, guys? CSTPL. Okay, so it says that, what is the problem here? Can
Already
you see?
exist.
Yeah, so it seems already there. If you want to see that all the databases, what are the databases available in this server, so through the help of this client software, we are trying to access. Sorry, guys.
Exist.
Yeah. So look at this. We have port stream database, CSTPL database. That is the reason we try to use that. That is the reason. So let's create our own other database. Create create database. Create database. We will use that. We will use that. CST database. What is that? CST database. Database is created now. What is the database name we give? CST is created. Now let's
CST.
see that. Let's see the in the under the list database list. So we can see, we can find it in the database, right? So now we created our own database. Like this, we can create a number of databases, guys, under this database server. And so CST is created. Now, if you want to do all operations, any operations on that, just use a CST. When you use CST, database will change. Then if you execute some queries, those queries will be as part of that CST database. Now, so let's see the data tables. What are the tables under this database? So look at this. Is there any tables? It is saying empty set. That means no tables are created under this database till now, because just now we created this database, right? So it's a new database which we created. Now under this database, how to create the table? How to create the table? We have to see. So creating a table, you have to understand, and inserting the data, updating the data, deleting the data, because already you saw that how to fetch the data by using select query, right? But we have to understand the remaining three also. First, before that, before understanding inserting, updating, and deleting, we have to know how to create a table. So how to create a table? So if you see, if you want to go and check the syntax completely, you can check in the MySQL document, guys. So look at this, because as we are using MySQL database here, so MySQL create table. Simple, just search it and go for the official document. So this is the official website of that MySQL. So you can go here and see that they have given, let's say they gave one example here. So you can use this example. Let's try to understand this syntax of the uh, table creation. Okay, so are you able to see that? Yeah. So the
Yes.
table, create table, and so the syntax is, we have to use this command, and table name. Here you can use your own table, you know, your own name, whatever the table name we want to. Let's say we want to do employee. What is the table name? Employee. We gave that. So name, employee name, I give, and I want to add ID, employee ID, IMP IMP ID. So IMP ID, what is the data type we can give here? Because everybody have string format only, right? Employee ID for your case. Am I right, guys? So that is how the employee ID can be added. Employee ID can be added. Employee ID can be added. Second, employee ID can be added. Name, worker 20. So that is employee ID is also worker I'm taking. Worker is nothing but it's kind of string group of character data. Like in a database, I mean Java, we have the string and all, right? So database also we have the different kind of data, like integer data, float data, double data, and date, like different kind of data. So we see that employee ID, worker name, worker, and So what other fields we can have this in the under this employee table, guys? I'm just removing all those things. Okay, I'm just removing all those things. Okay. Uh, I'm just making the one field, date field. Date is one of the data type of the database, and so that is birth date actually. Okay, I'm just taking these two things. Okay, so employee ID, name, and birth. And what other fields we can have, guys?
Phone number, email.
Yeah, let's say phone number. Phone. What is a phone number data type format? We can see the same string kind of thing. We can take it out. Okay. Now for timing, let's keep these columns only. Let's keep these columns only. Okay. So now we are ready. We are ready with the SQL query to create the employee table. So create table and a table name and column. Sorry, this is not required. Employee ID, column name, employee ID, worker name, worker, because both are in string kind of, and birth date format. It's date is like you know that a date is one kind of format, right? So then we will see then the database. So same way, date format and phone worker. Okay. So now let's take this query. Let's take this query and go here, and I'm just I don't know. One second. Copying. Yeah. Oh, still it's not working. I'm not sure why it's not. Yeah. Now it comes. So look at this create table employee. 1, 2, 3, 4 columns we get. And let's see that created. So now if you see that what are the tables under this database, how many tables we have under this CST table database? One table.
Employee.
And if you want to see that records, what are the records available in this table? Select star from employee. Select star from employee. Okay, select star from employee. So what are the data we don't have any data because it's not yet inserted. If you want to see that, insert the data. So simple, guys. So just go and refer the document, like how to insert the data. So that there you will get a syntax of this. You can always by see one or two times you keep on using, right? So then so you will remember that the queries. So the first step, we created the database, and then we created the table, and then how to insert the data also. You can see that. Look at this. Just take a simple example here. um, yeah, take this example and let's prepare that query. Okay. Okay, insert into table. What is the table name we are using? Employee. And what are the columns we have? Employee ID and name and birth and phone number.
Phone number.
These are the field. You can add as many number of you need it. So as many you need, but for timing I just took this 4 fields. And employee ID. So what is the data you want to keep? Employee ID. So it is a string, right? You can always keep in the single quote. So now so let's say CSTPL underscore 121. So that is the employee ID. Hmm? And this name wise, if I take, so let's say this is a Gautam. Okay, the name, employee name. And the next the birth, let's say sys date. So here I'm just giving you guys sys date. I will talk about this date later. Sys date means this the by default it will take the input we are giving. Just we are giving all the values, input values. What are the values you want to insert? What are the values you want to insert into that table? So those are the things we are trying to give you here. The first field what we gave here, employee ID, and the second field, and there's a name, right? And I gave the name Gautam, and then birth and sys date. Sys date means current date. I mean the date will take currently, but if you want to give own date, that we will discuss that. And phone number. Let's say in the phone number, it's also in a string format, right? Just say I'm giving this. Okay. So now I gave the values. I gave the values to that. Look at this. Observe that the syntax. It's not that much difficult here. So while creating the database, a table, create table and a table name, and how many columns you want to add, like this by comma separated you can add, but column name and data type, column name and data type. So you have to specify, then you can create the table. While inserting, so for what are the columns you want to add, so add the same order, and this values also add in the same order. So now I'm taking here this query, insert query, and going here. Okay, so 1 second guys, the same problem. I'm not sure why copying the data. Sometimes it comes and okay, again I'm trying. Just now it happened, right, for the create table. Anyway, otherwise I have to type. What happened to this? Select, copy, go. So guys, if I want to type it, I have to take again some time. Let's type it. Insert into table. What is the table? Employee, and then what are the columns you want to add? Employee ID,
Name.
comma, name, comma, birth, comma, phone. These are the columns, right? So
Yes.
values, the syntax that value. For this value case, employee ID, let's say CSTPL underscore 1, comma, a name. I'm just adding because this is a word gap field, right? I'm just adding that in single quotation, the Gautam. And for timing, I'm using sysdate. Sysdate is nothing but it's a default keyword which will be used to insert the data. I mean, date object, date value, and phone number. I'm just taking this, you know, 778703. Okay. So now semicolon, enter. So, okay. Okay. So yeah, there are some fields, guys. I use that. I think it's related to Oracle database, but mm, but the MySQL level for date field. What is the default keyword we can use to insert the current date, and we see that. Okay, we'll take this one. So I think that was that sysout will work on the Oracle, you know, uh, Oracle thing. Now it is executed. So what is meaning of this predefined function is you can see that a lot of functions are there. Just you can use that, but for time being, I'm just adding the date. Date means current. I mean today date. So that is. But if you want to add your own date, also can be added. But let's try to do this. How to add your own date? Like so if you want to add some your own actual date of birth by giving that, then you can do it. There are the functions are there, and you can use the input and all. You can do it. But till now we are working on the SQL query only and executed. And if you want to see the records, what are the records available in that under this employee table? Look at this, guys. So we got the data. So what is the date inserted, guys? What is the date inserted?
System today's date default.
Yeah, today's date. It was today's date is 16 because it's a US time is configured in this system. That is the reason it's still showing the 16. Actually, it's the 17, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the Y16 came there is because my system is configured in the US timings. That is the reason it's showing. And date is added and the column. So like this, we can insert the data. The syntax wise, we are trying to understand, right? So now this is the insert. And if you want to modify the data, suppose I want to insert one more record. Same query, guys. If you want to insert one more record here, let's say the employee ID is another two, and the name is I'm just taking here Nihira, and the date is the same I'm using, and phone number is the same, and just created. And look at this, guys. There are two employees under this code stream right now. That is CSTPL1, CSTPL2 employee ID, and the Gautam and Nihira. So these are the date fields I'm using for timing, current date only, and the phone number. Now I want to modify. I want to modify the phone number. Okay, I want to modify the phone number. So that means what I have to do? I have to update the data. Insert the data is done. What I have to do? I have to update the data. How to update the data? Okay, so there is a simple query, guys. Update the table. What is the table? What is the table, guys?
Employee.
Okay, set which column you want to set, and phone number equal to phone number equal to, say, I will set the data 810602647 4. So the different data where employee ID equal to CSTPL underscore 2. Okay. So where the employee ID is 2, there I want to update. I don't want to update all the records. I want to update specific record. Then you have to add this condition where by employee ID, like wherever we see that employee ID 2, then there, that case I have to update it. Okay. So look at this, executed successfully the query, update employee setter, and you go and see that records. Now is it updated or not? The phone number for the employee ID CSTPL2, the data is updated or not? Like, look at
Yes,
this
sir.
syntax of this update query, guys. Update employee and set phone number, whatever. Right now I am updating only one column. If you want to update many columns, you can add it by with comma and other column under like this. You can, I'm just explaining the syntax and how to use that, and based on your requirement how many columns you want to add, you can update. And if you want to add one more condition where employee ID one and name, and where the name is there, like this, based on the conditions you can add it and do it, guys. But more detail, like, if you want to see that syntax and different options, then always you refer this document, you can get full detail, okay, how to use that and with examples they gave you. Okay, so suppose I want to delete the record. I want the delete record, I don't want keep the record. So one record I want to delete it. So how to do it? A specific record, how to delete. So delete from the table. What is the table we want to delete? Because might be in a database many tables are there, right? Delete from table employee, where where employee ID equal to CST PL underscore 2. Okay, so now executed. So I deleted. Now let's see that whether record is there. Is deleted or not? Only one record is now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so like this, you can use the delete query. Even if for delete query also, you can find the number of examples, syntax and all. But basically, so what kind of operation generally we will do in the database? First, we will create this one. We will do only once, right? This one, which one? The creating of the table. Creation of the table will do only once. Am I right? Is it correct, guys? Will not create the table. I mean, only one means for one table. Okay, if you want to create, you will do only once the execution. But rest of the time, insert the data. In this insert query, we will do many times because many records we can insert. And updating based on requirement, we will do multiple times. And deleting also based on requirement, you will do multiple times. Okay. Suppose you want to delete all the records, then you don't add the condition. Don't add the condition. Delete. Don't add the condition. Delete from employee. So the moment when you add this, it delete all the records. That means you don't see that. But right now only one record, but it got deleted. Not only one. If you have 100 records also, it will delete. Okay. So select show tables. Let me show you. Show tables. What are the tables we have? Only one table. Right? So that table we created, we inserted, we updated, we deleted. So we can do these 4 operations, guys. Insert the data, update the data, delete the data, and get the data. So for insert the data, what query we have to use? Insert query, insert into table, something like that. And to update the data, update table name and set what are the fields you want to set, the syntax, and delete from table based on the condition. Or if you don't add any condition, it will delete all the records. Like this, guys. So you can do that. And if you want to get the data, we use the select star from, and star means if you want to get all the columns under the table, you will get it. If you add the specific column name, you will get specific. You know, are you able to see the screen right clearly, or else you want me increase the font size more? Okay, so like this we will do. So whatever the operations we did till now under by using this command line, okay. So then, so the same thing we can do with the program level also. Okay, so till now we did the select, right? So let's try with this same thing here, the insert query. Okay, let's take this insert query, and so insert query. Okay, and let's prepare that insert query now. So I'm just preparing the query. String insert. Just I'm giving my own name, guys. That's up to you. Whatever the name you will give, that's up to you. So it's like a variable and value, just a sign. Okay. This is the query we have. And this query, what I'm statically mentioning here. hmm, And so if you want to make it a dynamic, guys, you can always make it that. So dynamic in the sense means suppose you get this information somewhere and you want to insert it. And for timing, I'm taking this statical manner and taking this query and passing this. And for this insert case, there is a method called execute update. There is a method called execute. What is that? Execute update method. Use that execute update method for insert queries. For select queries, only select query, execute query. But rest of the time, you can use the execute update method. So the execute update method, if you see that, what is the return type of this execute update method, guys? Integer. So that means it will return how many records is the executed. Insert queries, update queries, delete queries. It's related to the records, right? If you do any insert query, it might be one record or two records. So it will give the return. And if you give update, it also count. It delete how many records. It always works on the records, right? So modifying the records, inserting the records, and deleting the records. This will do that. And so the return type is integer, and that integer is nothing but which will represent the what are the values, how many records are got affected by that query, how many records got affected by the query. Okay, and I'm just running this, guys. Run as Java application. And there is a one problem here. If you see that, what is the problem, guys? Old.employee does not. That means what database we are using here while getting the connection, database connection. What is the database we are using?
Old
Old.
database.
But the table is available, employee table. We are trying to access which table?
Employee
Employee.
table.
Is employees available in this old database?
No, sir.
No. So we under which database this table is there?
CST.
Yeah, just make it the change here, CST. That's it in the URL. Username password is the same, but in the under the database server we have different database. Now that is the error it is giving, that does not exist. So right, got the point, right? Okay, so now I'm just executing once again. The other problem here is unknown columns is date in. Okay, yeah, this is actually related to the Oracle database. It will work. And yeah, so that is what is that query? Current date, right? Which he used here. Let's take it out. Okay, so I'm using here current date. Okay, so now look at this, guys. I'm saving this, and I will come to here and I will explain. If you want to add your own date time, date, how to add. But this always gives the current date. And running again. And now look at this. Are you getting any error? No. But we got the one. One means what? Execute update method is returned one. That means one record got affected. That is the reason. And if you want to see that, before that, it was empty, right? Empty. Now look at the records. Now it got inserted or not? Okay. So I did the operation through the Java code, not with the MySQL. Is the record is inserted or not? The second record I am inserting once again. One second. And the same that phone number I'm keeping the same. And again I'm executing, guys. Executing. Look at this. Inserted. And look at this, whether inserted or not. It got inserted. So this insertion is happened with this command line or Java program. With the Java code
Java
we
program.
tried, right? So we try to do that. Even select wise, we already seen that. Insert wise, we are trying to see. Hmm? This is how we can insert the data into that table. Okay. So so far, any doubt, guys?
No, sir.
No, sir.
That's sure. Okay. So, fine. So if you are clear, then that's good. So then instead of create statement, I mean, update also same guys, we can use here, and same update query and execute the same code. Just query will change. Okay. And we'll see that as well. And so instead of create statement, we can use update statement also. Sorry, prepared statement also. There is one more method called prepare statement. So we'll see the difference between that and this later. I mean, explain you. But prepared statement. This prepared statement, while creating create statement, it doesn't take any parameter. But while creating prepared statement is expecting. So that means query we have to give here. The query, not to the method. Okay. The query we have to give here. Okay. The prepared statement. Let's say the prepared statement. So what is the prepared statement here? I'm just you changing the method, guys. Earlier, I'm creating the statement object. Now I'm creating the prepared statement. So the prepared statement, I'm just taking pst empty. I'm just making the name as it, and pst empty export. Look at this. So only the difference to this earlier statement object to prepared statement is statement object we are not passing while preparing the creating the statement, we are not passing the query, and but here the query we are passing. Okay. So here what we can do is in this place dynamically, if you want to add dynamically values, okay, instead of in the query level, you can add question mark here for each value, question mark for each value, question mark. But data is not yet setted, but we added the placeholders, okay, for four columns. Okay. So what we can do is by using the pstmt, we already passed the query, but any query like select query, insert query, whatever the query, so you can pass it. And we already passed the query, that string, to the prepare statement, guys. And the prepare statement, um you know uh, we passed it. And on to that, so here we took this, we can apply like this. While if we are using the prepared statement, we can apply values with the question mark, it's a placeholder. But we have to set the dynamically, right? If we execute directly without setting the values, we haven't set anything, it just pass the question mark here, and trying to execute it. Look at this, what kind of error we get. So no value specified for parameter one. That means it will take as a parameter one, two. It is not giving any error, the syntax failure. It is telling that no value is specified for this question marks. I mean 1, 2, 3, 4. So first parameter, second parameter, third parameter, fourth parameter. It will treat like that. That is the error. The error is showing. SQL exception is like this. Now let's try pstmt set. What is the first field, guys? First field, employee ID. So I'm just setting that, you know, if you go for a index here, it's not like the 0 index, guys. It's with the 1, 2 like this. What is the first parameter? 1. First parameter. What is the first parameter? Employee ID. And here you can dynamically set that. So here cstpl underscore 1. Like we already inserted, right? Let's say 3. And so what is another column, guys? Name field. So we can set like this the data if you are using prepared statement, pst empty dot set string, because it's also a string kind of data, right? Set the second parameter. And what is that? Name field is, I'm just adding here. Okay. So the name is Muni. Let's say Muni. Okay. So now see, but there are 4 fields, 4 columns, by I passed only 2 columns information, and let's run it. So look at this error. So it's expecting for, like, earlier it was error like a no value specified for parameter 1, but now we got parameter 3. That means we already passed supplied two values, I mean two parameters, and it is expecting the third parameter. That is the reason we are getting it this error. That means what? So it is expecting some values for this third and fourth. Okay, and copying the same thing here and pasting. And what is the third column? What is the third column we have? That is the
But
birth. That is the date, right? So here, what you can do is new. Do you know the date object, guys? Do you know date object? I did not discuss about date, right?
no, sir.
Okay, let's see. So this date class, it's a predefined class, guys. It's a date class, which is under which package, guys? Which is under
Java util package.
Java.util package. Suppose if you want to represent anything date wise and all, you can represent it. And also we have another date is nothing but a Java.sql date also. Java.sql date. So whenever you are passing the data object, you have to pass the java.sql, then only it will recognize. Look at this. We have java.util and java.sql. I mean, data object is available. I mean, there are two different classes, which is under one java.util, another one is java.sql. Now, I just passed that uh, data object, guys, data object. And this data object is not having the default constructor. Is it having the default constructor? Look at this. And if you want to go and see the document level also, you can see that first. Let's try to understand this data object. Date. So the date is a class Java SE API. And if we go here, yeah. So which package, guys? For time being, java.sql. So under this java.sql, the class is date. Date object here, if you see that, what are the constructors we have? What are the constructor we have? Data object java.sql thing, and you can see that what is the data object, constructed data object using the given milestone. There are two constructors which takes the year, month, and date. You have to give year, and which month and date. And the second thing is data object by passing the milliseconds. I mean, what is for current date, what is the milliseconds and all. So we'll see, try to understand here one thing. For time being, what is the year we want to add? 2015. What is your date of birth, Puni? Let's say 1990. Come on. And year, month is let's say
11,
January 1, 11.
25, sir.
Okay. So I just added. Why I just added year, month, and date. And now after that I added it. So just for now, just ignore this one error. That's striking. That's a deprecated thing. I will talk about that. Another way also we can use. We will spend more time on the date handling. I mean, how to convert one date to another date and format and all. We'll see that. For timing, just for set. What is that thing, guys? Next one is phone number. That is also string. That is string. Sorry. That is string. Okay. So that is the parameter is number is 4. The parameter number is 4. String parameter number is 4. Okay. So now here the phone number, let's take it. And I'm just taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. That is the phone number I just gave. Okay. Now I'm trying to execute it, guys. I've supplied the values dynamically. The query I don't change anytime, but I supplied it and try clicking on that and running on that. So look at this, whether it is executed. And if you see that data is there, what happened, Muni, here? Your date of birth is 38090,
No, sir.
and it took the, a different way. I will tell you that, guys. You don't worry. So we supplied. That is the reason they. It's taking in based on that. 1990 you passed, and but it was more than, what is that? How much more?
2000.
Is it 2000 only? 1900, right? 3890 minus 1990. So which is more is 90. That means by default it is adding, by default it is considering 1900 plus the value whatever you are adding. You added 1990, it is already 90. It's plus it. It's adding 1900. 1900 more. Okay. And month you added 11th. It took 12th month. It took 12th month. So the what happening here is, that is the reason they strike them and they deprecated using that. Okay. So that is the reason it is here. It clearly explaining this. Here the minus 900 must be 0 to 800. Note that 9 minus like this. Month 0 to 11 you have to give, and date you have to give like this. They already explained that how to give the date and all those things. If you want to give year, what you have to do, by minusing 1900. And if you want to give like month 0 to 11, not 1 to 12. Okay, that's what they're suggesting. Okay, in that case what is your date of birth? 1990. That means what you have to give here, is it 1990 only, Muni?
1994, sir.
Okay, so 1994. So just I'm giving 494. That means what? I'm minusing 1900 and give. And what is month? Right? So 10th. If I give 10th means what is that? Logically, that programmatically, it's 11th. Now,
Yes, sir.
now, now let's go and execute it, guys. Execute it successfully and look at the records. So now it got correct, right?
Yes, sir.
And no, don't use this one. Just how I'm just explaining how to insert the data, but don't go for this. Okay, there is one more method we have, right? We can, but if you are using, please read the how to use that. They already give the clear explanation here. Okay, it works, but a recommended way is, we have another way also how to use that. Also, we can work it out, and that is okay. So now, so I passed the dynamically the date, and it got inserted or not? It got inserted. So like this. So now I don't want this record. I don't want this record. But looking wise, everything is same, and you can delete the records also. But generally, employee ID will not be the same, right? For all the cases, right? So, but we don't have any constraint here, and the constraints things we will talk later. Primary key and foreign key relations in database. We'll talk about it. What is primary key when we are creating? And if you want to, so the generally why we need the primary key is, the employee ID, two employees doesn't have the same employee. If they have, that is a confusion, right? Roll numbers in, and in a school, if every student will have their own roll number, but like, one roll number will not be assigned to two students. So we want to control that as well in the while storing the data. What is unique in this? Name can be the same, but one person have the same name at all. Phone number also, right? Date of birth is also can be same, but employee ID cannot be the same. But how to, even if you are trying to, we are trying to insert the duplicate record. The duplicate record means again with the same employee ID we are trying to insert, but still it is allowing. So that means we are not keeping any constraint here. How to keep that constraint, and we'll see that. Okay, so tomorrow I think most of the time we will talk about these constraints and all, create a data with constraints, insert, and we will talk about the data object also, more detail, how to convert into more detail and all. So like this, these prepared statement is going to help you dynamically set the data. And if you keep in loop, let's say you kept this in loop and execute, so the query will never change, the values will change dynamically. And what is the difference between create statement and prepared statement logically, I mean internally, that also we will try to understand. Okay, so by using JDBC, mostly what we did, insert the data, get the data, update the data, delete the data. These are all the operations we are trying to do. Am I right, guys? So do some practice so that you will get some confident, or else if you will get if, doubts also. Then if you clear it, then it will be good for you. So everybody is able to insert, I mean, do the operations in our system.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then good.